Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Making of Smiling Co. I'm your co-host, Ashley Joves.
And I am Brian. Thanks for having me back.
Actually, thank you for making me record.
Well, that is what we do best. So it's been a while. We're making Smile and Company. Actually, we're making Smile and Company number 2. So what's the update since the last time that we recorded?
Which was when?
I don't know, a month or 3 ago.
Although you did say I gave a lot of information when I was recording with The Making of Limitless.
Yes, yes. Your conversation with Dr. Nick had a lot of the making of Smiling Company, and which it's a good update for everybody. Dr. Nick, you're fantastic, but stop asking her questions. She's supposed to ask you questions.
So his text message to me was that The Making of Limitless or The Making of a Smiling Co. And I feel like Nick and I play really well off of each other because we're both in
The thick of it.
the thick of it.
Yeah.
And I'm just a few months, or no, not even months. I think I'm just a few weeks ahead of where Nick is at.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you guys are going together, but as somebody who knows your story really well and is wanting to hear his story, I was like, why does he keep asking you about your story?
So less Ash, more Nick. Got it. Less Ash, more Nick.
It's all about the right. I mean, if he wants to come on the Making of Smiling Company and ask you about the Making of Smiling Company, I think that'd be great. I think we just want to make sure that everybody knows what they're getting into for an episode.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick. And Brian also was like, did you guys really have phone calls in the middle of your recording? I mean, this is true life. I was recording at the new office. I think Nick was also talking with a contract. I don't remember what, but
yeah. So, that's that. But we haven't done an actual episode of the Making of Smiling Company in quite some time. You did have an episode that you recorded with Colin, I think in between meetings or driving between the offices or something along those lines. So anyway, there's a long lead into what the heck's been going on. I don't know, maybe in the past 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, well, before we get into that, this is a quick plug because Brian and Colin know that I have not talked about the retreat. So we're going to do it now before the end of the show. You guys, we are doing the Making of Retreat Part 2. Last year was an incredible weekend in Napa. This year it's going to be in Sonoma. And it is probably one of the most memorable experiences I've had with colleagues. It was an intimate setting in picturesque wine country, talking about everything under the sun, all the wins, but most importantly, all of the losses. Learning opportunities, yes. And ask anybody who attended, it was magical. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. I know I'm biased, but it was truly amazing. And you can't get that on an online course. You can't even get this, I think, in any educational course. And I go to lots of CE. This is meant for camaraderie.
Yeah. And as a dental spouse, because there was a lot of us that were there, it was something that everybody came away better from.
Yeah.
Not just the dentists, but all of the sponsors that were there, all of the spouses that were there, everybody that was involved came away knowing people better, having better friendships, and really just, I think, overall being a better person. So we're going to make you a better person.
Yeah.
How's that for a sales pitch?
I mean, I always want to be better, but this year we have some remarkable speakers. The whole theme for the retreat is mental health, wellness. Let's take care of ourselves spiritually, emotionally, physically. So we have the amazing Joanna and Josh Scott talking about marriage, talking about what it's like experiencing burnout, what it's like working with a spouse, their own experiences with marriage counseling. We have the amazing Dr. Kyle Stanley talking about mental health resilience and also his own struggles with burnout. We have Dr. Andy Jean Miro. She is, I mean, she is a badass cosmetic dentist. She worked with Dr. Michael Appa for several years, and she's going to be talking about not just cosmetics and photography, but what it's like addressing those high maintenance patients. Like what is she doing to attract that clientele? What is her new patient exam looking like? We have Dr. Katie Toe talking about differentiating yourself in a saturated marketplace. She's going to be talking about wellness dentistry and how to really set your brand apart from everyone else. Man, that's we have other ones. I'm going to be speaking about where I'm at.
Depending on
Yeah.
the moment, Ash's conversation or speech or discussion will be a little bit different. But you guys all know Ashley by now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if anybody is wondering why,
That is my security alarm, I think. Pause.
and so for anybody wondering why we're talking about wellness and mental health and all of the ways to be able to make sure that you can actually do everything necessary to run your dental practice as good as it can be for as long as you can do it. Let's now talk about what's been happening for the past couple of months, my dear. So let's start with the big news. What's the biggest thing that's happened in the past couple of months?
We opened.
You opened.
We opened after 2 years of planning and dreaming about this new office. We opened, and it's been a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, I mean, so we are in August right now. You have been open for about a month.
No, 2 weeks.
You've been able to occupy for about a
okay.
month,
Okay. Yes.
right? So construction was essentially complete beginning of July.
We got the certificate of occupancy mid-July.
So, I think it would have been nice if we have some stops along the way, but let's go back to maybe the last couple of weeks of the office trying to get finished, working with all of the contractors, rushing everybody into the office, trying to get it done to, thankfully, we had such a great construction team that worked with us, but trying to get everybody in to be able to have the office actually get that certificate of occupancy. What thoughts or memories come to mind as I want to step back to that time frame?
Well, I know there was a mad rush to get a good majority of it done because we were hosting an open house with Bank of America. We did a whole startup bus tour where 50 people were touring the Folsom office, 2 other dental practices in the area, and then we ended at Roseville. So that happened on June 17th. And at that time, guys, there were still boxes everywhere. My office was in disarray. It was like the week leading up to that startup bus tour was mayhem. And I mean, there was a lot riding on this because obviously my contractor and his subcontractors, that is potential new business for them. And they wanted to be able to showcase our new office in a really good light. Bank of America obviously wanted to show off the new office because they're doing my loans, and they've been a terrific lender for us. So around the clock, I think that week we had 4 different things happening all at the same time. All the IT went in. We had glass there. My glass guy was working around the clock.
Yeah.
And he was very understaffed. I think he worked by himself all of Saturday, all of Sunday, and he booked a hotel across the parking lot just so that he could wake up at 5 a.m. to start working on the space. What else? Paint. Oh gosh, we have so many walls that needed to be painted. So, and what is it called? The slat walls.
The slat walls went in that week.
The slat walls went in that week.
Yeah. I mean, and you said so many boxes everywhere. I mean, really, it was construction, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't just boxes. Boxes would have been one thing. You were housing a bunch of dentists and people in the dental industry coming by to showcase the office.
Yeah.
Everybody, the construction was happening around the clock. People were there. It's felt like at least 20 hours a day. And then you hadn't actually ordered much of anything at that point.
No.
So we brought all of our furniture from our house so that you could have people sit down.
Yeah.
When they came and visited.
Good thing I have a mommobile, aka a minivan. I loaded the back of that minivan with all of the chairs, and I took multiple trips just so that people were not sitting on the floor, Indian style. Is that PC?
I don't know.
Do they call it?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I think you should have just let people sit on the floor.
Yeah.
That was a headache bringing all the chairs back and forth.
Well, to put it in perspective, we had chosen this date with Bank of America, June 17th, because theoretically, I was supposed to have had my final inspection by June 20th. So if everything went according to plan, we would have been at the finish line.
If everything went perfectly.
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah. Well, construction tends not to go perfectly. But realistically, June 20th was supposed to be final inspections. We did them first week of July, second week of July, something like that.
And the city of Roseville kept failing us for certain things.
Yeah, but I mean, that's only 2 weeks off. I think it's
Yeah.
The grand scheme of things. Most people don't decide to throw an open house before you're targeted to be finished. So I think in the grand scheme of things, 2.5 weeks was really not that far off target. In terms of being done.
No, I had the best team. They really rallied. Everybody rallied. They wanted to make Smile & Co. Roseville a star, and she was. And now she looks even better because she's finally done.
So we came through that bus tour, and then we're kind of working up, and obviously at that point, you can see the finish line. Things are still wrapping up, so obviously there was still a lot going on. The glass guy to finish so you got the glass in, but then the finishing touches. So anybody who hasn't actually seen pictures of Smile & Company Roseville really needs to jump on some form of social media and check out the pictures of the glass and the amazing work that these artists did, because the glass is absolutely spectacular. So he was still working on the finishing touches. I mean, that guy, I feel like we would show up randomly at like 2:00 on a Sunday, and he was just there working.
His poor girlfriend even accompanied him because he lives 2 hours away, and in order for her to actually see her man, she had to come to the job site.
It's true. Yeah, she was just hanging out.
That's love.
But so we're getting through there. I mean, obviously the rush, and we don't even need to get into the fact that you forgot to order furniture until the very end.
Oh my gosh, can we just talk about this? Okay, you guys know that I'm a spaz and I don't have a plan. And you would think that after 2 years of knowing that this office is eventually going to open, I would have had a longer runway for all the furniture to be ordered, but I did not. So
in very Ashley fashion, we started searching for furniture in like
July. I think I ordered the first round, the 4th of July sale, because that's when everything was like 4th of July sale, 4th of July sale. So we don't have all the furniture in yet.
Yeah. Yes. So there was no furniture even picked out, much less ordered.
No.
Until the very, very end. And so
so surprised. I'm like, you can't just deliver it like on Monday.
So we're in the final stretches, trying to get the office done, starting to think about how to open the practice, trying to get the team ready, thinking about all these things. And no, we weren't thinking about that. We were at West Elm looking at swatches.
I have so many swatches.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ah,
It was,
yeah.
I feel like that was an only Ashley moment. Like that,
Is it though?
I mean, I don't know, but to the amount of time that we spent at West Elm at a time when I think there was a lot of other things that we probably should have been doing,
You know, that's the part that I love the most, right?
which is
The
amazing
design
that
part.
you took so long to get there.
Yeah, what was I doing?
I
Oh
think
yeah, still seeing patients in the other
I think what you
location.
were planning was you knew that really in those 2 weeks you're supposed to be, you know, doing team training and working on the systems for the new practice and how to do that. And you're like, that's not going to be fun. I'd rather go look at furniture.
Yeah, 100%. That is not, that's not my forte. That's why I hire amazing people. I, yeah,
So I wanted to skip over the furniture, but we did it. So we furniture ordered late, and
yeah.
then we're still moving towards finishing construction and starting to ramp up. And tell me what's going on in your head at that point. So we're, let's say, getting close to July, end of June, early July, and we're, you know, about a week and a half from getting a certificate of occupancy. Like where are you mentally?
I think that's when I just started to really struggle. It, I have a, I have something else that's happening at the same time as the the opening of the practice, dealing with a, um, I don't even want to talk about it, but it's it's really unfortunate because this moment should have been such a joyous occasion, and it robbed me of my joy. And so now I, like, even now I have mixed emotions, which is so weird to say because it's been such a, it's been like riding this high, like getting to design my dream office, getting to pick out the furniture, getting to discuss floor plans and all of those things. Like my joy is in the build. I love to create anything. I love to create podcasts. I love to create things that did not exist before. And at that finish line or leading up to the finish line, I was so, and I still am because it's still happening. It just, it took me to a different place mentally that I couldn't allow myself to bask in what was happening. And I don't think I really fully let myself sit in it until yesterday when Studio 88 was asking me questions. And there's just so many things, guys, that you see on social media. You see all the, it's so cliche, you hear it thrown out all the time. You see the highlight reel. You see the laughing and the fun stuff. You see a beautiful office. You see beautiful smiles. You see before and afters. But there's so much that happens that you don't talk about. And I'm dealing with something right now that's been hard. And I've lost sleep. I've already not been a very good sleeper. And these past few weeks, it's I have a call with my attorney tomorrow, and I just sit at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and my mind just starts to spiral. And I know that everybody says, like, don't let this one thing, don't let this one experience or one person take that from you. Don't let it dull your spark. And I don't know how to shut that off. And And it's gotten to the point where I am here, let me tell you some backstory, because I know I'm all over the place, but it's stream of consciousness. So I was supposed to see this patient doing a smile design in our new place. And before any procedure, we always take blood pressure. Her blood pressure was through the roof. It was 160 over 105. And we took it multiple times. We actually had to abort treatment the first time around with her. We sent her straight to her physician, and she ended up needing to get on BP meds that day. And her doctor was very grateful that her dentist was conscientious. And the same patient came back after a week, and we tried it again, took her blood pressure also through the roof. And then Brian told me, well, why don't you calibrate it? Which means, like, why don't you put it on yourself or anyone else and see if it's the cuff? And so I put it on myself, thinking that I had perfect blood pressure. And guys, my blood pressure was 155 over 105. And then that's when I was like, okay, it's not you, Erin. It's the cuff. Like, that is so wrong. And but before I dismissed it, I had Colin take her blood pressure, my other assistant take her blood pressure, as well as another assistant, which all of theirs were completely normal. And then I took my blood pressure 4 more times that day on 2 different cuffs, and they were all reading 150s over 100 plus. And I think that just really put it into perspective, because I've been coming home with swelling in my legs and my feet. I haven't been sleeping. And I think I didn't really tell Brian until recently that I just started to feel like panic attacks. Like, you feel like the world is caving in and it's hard to breathe. And then I'll just get really hot. And then I have to go outside and just remind myself to breathe. And I've never had that before. And it may be this one person that triggered it, but then when you feel overwhelmed in one area, you start to think about all worst case scenarios for everything else. And I started to spiral, thinking about, okay, so now what's going to happen with practice number 1? And then how am I going to support practice number 2? And then dealing with this attorney situation, while also realizing that I've completely neglected talking about this amazing retreat that's happening. And also at the same time that I have 3 children who, when I come home, I'm here physically, but my mind is anywhere but. And it's just been really hard these past few weeks. Like, we have this beautiful office, and I have so many blessings on blessings and so many things that I know I'm so grateful for. And I can't shut off these voices in my head. And I started listening to Kyle Stanley, and I'm so happy that he is one of our keynote speakers for the retreat. He has a course called Lightside Academy, and I've been listening to that, and he just talked about his own struggles with burnout and dealing with 3 separate occasions, all that happened in the same year, all of which made him want to quit dentistry. And it's just, it is a lot of pressure, whether it's I'm putting it on myself or and Brian's been so amazing, and he always tells me, like, it's, you are gonna be fine. The offices are going to be fine. And I just feel like a failure. Like, we opened this beautiful office and we have a beautiful, fulsome office, and I feel like I'm failing everyone.
Which isn't true, by the way. I mean, I understand that those are your feelings and not trying to downplay that, right? But yeah, we do try, I feel like my job is to try to obviously be there to help and support, but also to try to give you a little bit of perspective, right? I mean, you're not, there's nothing that's failing. You're doing amazing. Side note, none of this has to happen ever, right? If it's ever something that doesn't bring you joy, that's the kind of the entire purpose of this, right? For anybody who's been around long enough, we talked about how, to go through this, the only purpose was for you to be happy with it. There's no other reason. And so if it's bringing you stress, it's probably something that we need to address. And whether that's, you figuring out how to help with the stress internally, to stop putting so much pressure on yourself that is, false evidence appearing real and causing you to believe that something that isn't true, or sell the practices. Like, this is all for your happiness, not for, it's very hard to get to this point of this office opening so long in the making, so much work that's gone into it, something that's absolutely insanely stunning, that quite frankly, if you walked in the door and somebody told you you're in a 5-star hotel, you'd be like, wow, that's a nice 5-star hotel. And it's a freaking dental office. And for you to be in a place at that moment where it's open and it's realized, that's not joyful, it's tough. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it's tough for you. I can speak from my perspective. It's very tough to kind of be here with you and trying to walk you through it, but not really knowing how.
Yeah, and it's also the reason why I haven't shown up on social media.
Yeah,
like I can't talk about even just my cases. Like, I feel, when you're not in the right mental space, you just want to shrink. And but to address my blood pressure concerns, guys, I went to my doctor yesterday. They were able to squeeze me in, and I am, for the first time ever, taking hypertensive medication, which,
welcome to your 40s.
dang.
Well, thankfully, we live across the street from very good friends that also happen to be a cardiologist.
Yeah.
So it's really helpful to.
But it's so bad that she called me and she said, you are needing to message your primary to get a referral to see me because that medication that you're on is not enough. Yeah. So
she's very aggressive with blood pressure, as I would imagine cardiologists are supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean,
that's why I stopped telling her about my blood pressure. Better if you just ignore it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
we opened an office, and it's not been as exciting and
no, I mean, it's amazing. It is everything I dreamed and then some, and then it just is also a pressure around me, I think, to watch it grow and nurture it and continue to care for the first location. And Yeah. It's
Wow. You asked me earlier if I have questions. I
yeah.
had a lot of questions, but I feel like I don't have any questions at this moment in life.
Well, what were
Uh,
your questions?
I honestly don't remember. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know that I saw this episode going this direction. I knew that obviously I know you've been dealing with some stuff. I didn't quite think we'd go. I didn't quite think it would follow through this way.
So we're gonna put this on the making of Anne Little podcast.
That's fair. Um, well, so let's kind of maybe then finish walking through it, right? I mean, obviously, mentally you're not in a great place right now.
But I'm getting there.
We're getting there. I mean, I know every day, we're checking in on you, trying to help you with trying to figure out about the sleeping and doing all this stuff. It's, I mean, obviously, I think all of that's not quite where we need it to be, in recycling it. But as you now have seen the office open, doors open, seen people's reactions to the space, you haven't quite done your first cosmetic case in the office yet, but that'll happen at some point soon.
I have 6 consults next week, which I'm so excited that my team, they're still rallying, and gosh, I have the most, and I'm just gonna segue into this because Studio 88 was like asking me what makes Smile & Co different, and I can talk about the design and all of that, but at the end of the day, it really is just the people. The people that I have are incredible, and they've been like, it's my birthday on Saturday, and they surprised me with a birthday celebration yesterday when Studio 88 was filming, which was so amazing. And today I went to the Folsom location, and then they had their cards because they know that my love language is words of affirmation. So I had a bouquet and cards there. So yeah, it's just me. I think I just need to be medicated. I just want
But
I am the linchpin. What is that? What does that really mean though? Like the linchpin?
the thing that everything circles around, you're the reason why things exist.
And the reason why things will fail. Yeah.
I mean,
So that's what I think about it too.
So there are two different sides of it, right?
Yeah.
The reason why things exist, coming from my perspective, and your side, the reason why things will fail.
Yeah.
Once again, for the record, scoreboard so far, this side's winning.
He's pointing to me.
Nothing's failed yet. So you have no points on the board for that, the reason why things fail scenario. But so that team's amazing. I mean, so kind of circling back to that. I mean, obviously, we had Studio 88 in town to be able to do the website refresh, to get some footage and some pictures of the new space, to really see everything, right? The office come to fruition, things happening, your vision through other people's eyes, right? Mm-hmm. Whether that's through Josh or the rest of his team, your team's eyes, the patients that are coming through. I know we've had some family members that came all the way up from Los Angeles because they were so excited and visited the space to see your vision come to life and experience other people experiencing it has to be something that is helping to ease whatever internal zhuzh is going on.
Yeah, that has been so, I mean, it feels unreal. It does. Like it's my dream house.
Dude, that place would be such a nice place to live.
We should have put a shower in a bedroom upstairs.
We joke consistently about the fact that our house looks so neglected compared to
but we have 3 boys
compared to both offices, but especially I've been protecting Folsom recently because everyone's talking about how beautiful Roseville.
Folsom is gorgeous.
And I'm like,
too.
Folsom is still in the top 1% of dental offices in terms of its aesthetics. It's just, it was built in 2017 and that was your vision then. And this is 2023 and this is a different vision. It's more modern. It's a little, more modern to the current times, and it's the next step in the next evolution. And so, of course, from, your design perspective, it's going to be that much more interesting and impressive. But I'm not feeling bad for Folsom at this point.
Folsom's amazing.
I'm about to perch up and start seeing patients out of Folsom to make sure Folsom gets the love that it wants.
Well, people still love Folsom. Yeah.
Folsom, I'm here for you. Don't let Ashley tell you otherwise.
Whatever. Whatever. No, it's really cool. And I keep as crazy as I can be and go down my rabbit holes and have anxiety attacks and have high blood pressure and start thinking about worst case scenario, I do not regret any decisions. Like it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Well, I think we covered a lot of ground, and though I'm sure there's plenty more that we could discuss, I think that's probably enough. I think we've taken people on a little roller coaster of emotions already. Sorry if you guys made it to this point and you're on the way to work and you end up with tears in your eyes or some some feelings before seeing patients today. But I think that's probably a good place for us to end this episode of the Making of Smiling Company. And we have officially made Smiling Company Roseville, and we are continuing to make Smiling Company in all of your dreams.
And if you want to cry in person with me, come to
we will have
Sonoma.
Unlimited tissue boxes available. All of the
No, I'm gonna have lots of stories to share with you in person.
Yeah. But I mean, I think, I know I said it earlier, like the reason why you chose to make this retreat about wellness is because there's a million places people can learn to acquire new patients, can figure out how to make systems, even a million courses where you can learn how to, do X, Y, or Z procedure.
Right.
But none of that stuff matters if at the end of the day you're not happy and fulfilled, right? And so to be able to have a group of people that understand the struggles of opening a practice, of being the linchpin, and probably sometimes feeling more like you're the person that's going to make everything fall rather than having the feeling that you're the orchestrator making everything happen.
Yeah.
That's why the retreat exists. That's why this retreat is different and why it's meant for a different person, focusing on a different aspect of the evolution and the happiness. That's really the goal of owning the practice, not just having green at the end of the day on your net sheet.
Yeah. And to speak to that, so we have a mastermind that meets once a month. So all the docs who came to the retreat the first time around, I was in Scottsdale, and that coincidentally was our mastermind session. We meet the first Wednesday of the month, and it was so nice to be able to talk to them, and not just to them. They shared their own stories. Like each one, like it felt, I can't even describe how hugged and supported I felt. Like empathy. We were just listening to the audiobook, The Power of Vulnerability by Brene Brown. And she talks about going through a shame spiral, and we all have our triggers. And shame cannot live in the same environment when there is empathy. And everybody talked about whatever they're dealing with in their personal lives, in their professional lives, whether they're taking medication, whether they're not, seeking therapy. It was exactly what I needed. And I felt so lifted in that moment. So I really hope you guys do come. And I've always been about sharing the story, whether it's high or low. So I hope you guys can relate, and I hope you guys can make it out to wine country, because it's exactly this, but in person with wine overlooking the best vineyards during the best time of year. And bring your significant other, because who are we without them?
Oh, thanks, babe.
Yeah. See, I can be nice. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to therapy session number, what episode is this?
I don't actually know.
Yeah.
80 something.
If you are wanting to come to the retreat, I've just decided that well, there's going to be a scholarship program. Ask me what I mean about that. DM me on Instagram or Facebook if you're curious. Basically, we are partnering with our sponsors, and they're subsidizing the costs to help bring docs to wine country and experience this. So
Yeah,
yeah, stay
because
tuned.
because it's all about the people that we have there. And
Yeah.
we want to make sure that we have the right people in the room.
Yep.
But also, please, if you enjoyed this, if you listened, please give Ashley virtual hugs.
Oh,
and
thanks.
but also, please share it with anybody that you think would find value in it. The more that you guys share the podcast, the more that we can share the stories and be there for other people that are going through similar situations. Reviews would also be nice. We don't actually look at the reviews from this podcast, but we would appreciate it if you left them. I think all of that helps with getting the word out about that we want all the docs to know that there are people going through the same thing, and that there are people that understand the difficulties of being a doctor, being a spouse, a parent, a business owner, all of the above. And it's hard, right? Adulting is hard, but there are people that are here to try to help.
Yep. Amen to that.
All right. That's all I got. Sign us out.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to another episode of The Making of and Little Black Dress, because this is going on both. This was therapy session, and I feel better talking it out. And we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.